What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Diablo 2's remaster and talk about the support of it. Should we support it? Should you feel bad for supporting it? And go from there. And the reason I bring this up, and please follow me through at least a little bit so you guys kind of get the sense of where I'm going from it. What I've seen online, specifically because of Activision Blizzard, right, is a lot of resentment towards the company, which I don't think is all that bad, right? And a lot of people that have, I think, at least brought up the idea of like, okay, well, what do you do to fix these things? What do you do to stand up to these things? Now, I am not a man that participates in a lot of these kinds. I'm just going to be flat out honest with you. I don't participate in a lot of these activities. I try to stay generally, in terms of like what I say on Twitter or even like on YouTube, I try to stay away from it. It really just brings more, I guess, conflict with people than it would if you just kind of shut up, right? However, you could say that's not a good thing to do, right? That's being too quiet. And I have really no problem with that whatsoever. You know what I mean? That's the thing, though, right? It becomes that kind of dialogue where it's like, well, what do you do? Obviously, there's some pretty bad stuff that probably happened. You know what I mean? I do believe in justice. I believe in evidence. I want there to be proof that certain things have happened. I think there's been definitely enough proof to at least say, okay, and I know I'm laughing, which is maybe like off-putting to people. Hopefully it's not, though. It's kind of funny in like a really like sad, stupid kind of way that like this stuff actually does happen. You know what I mean? But there has been, I think, enough evidence to at least suggest something has happened. Like the extent, and is everybody in on it? Like all the higher ups and stuff like there's things that I think absolutely need to be proven, and you are innocent until proven guilty. But there's definitely stuff where it's like, okay, there's some bad people here. I mean, the hotel room that was designed after the one person. I'm not even gonna mention names, right? Like some of that stuff is just flat out weird in the worst way possible. So that leads us to Diablo 2. This is really the first big one. Obviously, like, you have Call of Duty, which is bigger than pretty much anything anybody can make, right? But Diablo 2 is really that first one where it's like, I don't blame people. And I've actually wondered, I'm going to be flat out honest, I've wondered it myself. I would show you, if I didn't want to like dox myself, I would show you like phone records of me talking to my friend where it's like, what do I do? Like, do I like just being flat out honest, because I do think people kind of have this debate with people where it's like, do you support the game? So that brings us to right now, right? A very long kind of, but just to kind of get people on board with where I'm at and kind of the general confusion that I live with daily. Do you support Diablo 2? I would say my answer is you do what you feel you want to do. And that's such a cliche, you know what I mean, stupid kind of answer, but it's very, and I always say that kind of like to mock myself, but also to show you guys transparency that it really is what I believe. You do what you feel is right. I would say I would not feel bad. Like, if you're wondering, should I feel like a horrible person if I buy Diablo 2? No. You can look at it actually from several different ways. If you're buying Diablo 2, you're supporting, in a way, the creators. You're also supporting the higher ups because you're giving them money, you're funding it. You're I don't know, you're literally just giving them bucket loads of money that may or may not contribute to future behaviors that are a lot like behaviors they've already done. You could easily think of it like that, and to be honest with you, again, that's kind of the catch-22. That very well could be part of what happens. Yeah, there's really no stopping it. At the same time, well, number one, I never want to have people feel sorry for liking a product. You know what I mean? And I walk a thin line on that, you know, because I talk a lot about like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and I've talked a lot about like Aquaman, right? I never want to shame people into being like, well, I can't see Aquaman 2 because I'm contributing to a problem, or Alex told me not to. I never really want to be that person. Now, I think for, say, an example of Aquaman 2, there are ways of watching the movie, which is really all you want to do. I mean, if you want to watch the movie, watching it, getting the full experience, but not supporting them financially. Believe it or not, and I think you guys know this, there are ways, a little, not the greatest morality ways, of participating in those events where you don't have to pay money and you can still watch the product, but you're not helping them in any way. It's harder for games, and it's different for games just in general. You know what I mean? But that's an example for say, something like that. But the general point is, I don't want people to ever feel literally like picked on, you know what I mean, or looked down upon or guilted into doing anything. That's really, I think that's a strong thing just in life. People should, obviously there's laws and there's like things you need to do and you can't do and stuff like that in life, but like anything that's not that, you really shouldn't be guilted one way. I mean, it's your choice. Ultimately, it really is your choice. So you could be contributing to the problem if you want to think that way, or you could tell people, oh, you're contributing to the issue. At the same time, when it comes to, I would say, this situation, I do think this is different than Hollywood and like making movies, and I can go into that maybe in a separate video, but for like this, we know there's a lot of good people in the gaming industry that make games. There's a lot of people there's actually a lot of people that kind of just shut up and do their job. And that sounds very direct and maybe a little offensive, right? Maybe a little too direct, but it really is the way that even like there's a lot of people in the gaming industry that I do not like. Both gaming media, I despise most of them, and even in the actual gaming development industry, there are definitely people that I don't necessarily agree with or I don't even like, but they're really some of the more vocal people. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that work in the gaming industry that just work. They go to work every single day. They're an engineer, or they're a coder, or they're a level designer, or they're an artist, or they're a lighting person, and they just do their job. You know what I mean? And they contribute to games that we love. And that's kind of the point. You know what I mean? That's what I would say on the pro side of like, well, should you feel guilted into not buying the game, right? Not necessarily, because you're saying that, well, you don't even know what Activision will now do, or Activision Blizzard will do to these people now, right? If the game doesn't sell, do you shut the studio down? Do you fire these people? Do you lay them off for a certain amount? Like what, I mean, these things can very easily happen. It's a very difficult situation where it's like now you actually may be actively hurting them more than they're already hurting from their job. You know what I mean? And again, I do think that's very different in a lot of ways than, say, Hollywood, where games, like there's just a lot of, there is that in Hollywood too, right? But for games, I mean, there's just a lot of ground worker people that are say specifically Diablo 2, right? They're working on the game. They maybe have nothing to do with any of this stuff, right? Maybe they're not even affected by some of this stuff, and they're just working, and then you don't buy their game because you're trying to send a message. I mean, that's noble, and I'm not going to stop you from doing that either, right? I don't want to talk you out of that one, but that's the really difficult part to all this. So again, I won't lie. I mean, I've even talked to my friend, because I'm not a big Diablo guy in general. I played the third one. I've only played the third one. I actually incredibly enjoy the third Diablo game. I love it to death. And like, I want this one. I ultimately think I'm not going to get it, and I'm not making these like fake excuses to hide from like, oh, I really want to stick it to Activision Blizzard. It's coming out in like a bad time. It comes out, I believe, 2 days after Kena Bridge of Spirits. It's coming out a week after Deathloop. I just got Life is Strange, so I bought the deluxe, the $80 edition. So like, I've spent a lot of money on games already. October is insane in terms of game releases. So I think financially and just when these games are coming out, I'm probably going to skip on it, and I may buy it like discount on a sale later, like towards Black Friday. That's probably what I'm going to do. But I have wondered to myself where it's like, do I feel okay if I bought it? You know what I mean? Like, would that be looked down upon? And I think ultimately, again, I do kind of rest on, it's our decision. It's not somebody else online to guilt you into not buying it or buying it. If you want to buy it, if you enjoy Diablo games, buy it. And if you want to rationalize it to yourself, right, you can go one of the two ways. If you want to rationalize it in a negative way of not buying it, you certainly can. And if you want to rationalize it in a good way, that option's open too. So hopefully people got or get what I'm trying to say in this video. I know I talk a lot, and I don't have a script, so I mess myself up quite often, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to support me anywhere else, I do have a Twitter. I have a second YouTube channel. We also have Patreon and YouTube memberships if you guys want to support us there. Links for all of that are in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.